Now that Quest 3 is finally in my studio, I can rip open this box and see what's inside and of course set it up. I've had Quest 3 for about 3 days now, and while it is not enough time to do a deep dive review, I will give you my first thoughts about this headset now that I have the time to get to know it in a little bit more personal level. And make sure to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss more in-depth reviews and a lot more content about Quest 3 coming in the coming days. I've also recently finished the Quest 3 giveaway on my channel, and there was so much excitement about it that I decided to do another one. Yes, there's the second Quest 3 giveaway on the Disco VR channel, just because I want to keep spreading the excitement about this headset. Entering is very simple. All you need to do is be subscribed to Disco VR, leave a comment underneath telling me why are you excited about this headset, and include this hashtag in your comment. The winner will be announced in the community tab of this channel, so make sure you keep an eye on that so that you don't miss the winner announcement. And now that we are ready, let's dive in. Quest 3 came in this beautiful creators box made specifically for partnered Meta creators like myself. Thank you, Meta, for sending me this headset for review. It is so much smaller than packages of all other Quest released in the past, and I think it is done to emphasize the small form factor of Quest 3. Like, look, even our packaging is smaller. Everything is fit is a neat little box, the headset, 2 controllers, and underneath there's also a box with a charging block and the USB-C cable. It's a really small headset, especially when you compare it to Quest 2, but let's look around. You can see the 3 cameras at the front with the RGB camera in the middle, and underneath you can see the microphone, the volume buttons, IPD adjustment wheel. On the side you can see the power button. Inside the left arm of the head strap there is a USB-C port that you can use for charging or for connecting it to your PC, and in the right one there is a 3.5mm jack for headphones. To get to the lenses, we'll remove this paper insert that actually explains to you that you can adjust the length of the facial interface to accommodate glasses. There are 2 buttons on the side that you can press, and then the facial interface will come forward, or you can push it all the way back so that your eyes are as close to the lenses as possible, because the closer your eyes are to the lenses, the wider is the FOV. I don't wear glasses, so I pressed the facial interface as close to the lenses as I could so that I got the maximum FOV I could get. Facial interface here has a matte surface, and the actual soft cushion is made of some kind of fabric. It is not the foamy-like interface that we saw in Quest 3, thank goodness, because that one was awful. The facial interface in Quest 3 actually looks and feels decent. The soft strap is very similar to the one that you get with Quest 3, but with one very significant difference. It has a split design in the back, which makes all the difference when it comes to comfort. You can adjust the positions by moving these 2 parts apart or together, and that's how you will adjust how tight this head strap is. And then of course you can adjust the top Velcro strap. To be honest, I found the Quest 3 head strap design surprisingly comfortable. I hated the Quest 2 soft strap, but with Quest 3 it sort of feels completely different. Maybe it's something about the split design that makes it hug your head better so that it doesn't kind of flip around, but it really makes a difference. It even reminded me of this soft razor strap that I tried a couple months ago, and as you see, I still have it on my headset because I found it very comfortable. And it's pretty much what the Quest 3 feels like to me as well. As long as you have found the right position or the right length of the strap, all you do is simply slide it on top of your head, just like so, and it's super comfortable. You don't need to adjust anything anymore. I never thought that I would say it because I was always opposed to the soft strap in Quest 2, but with Quest 3 it is completely different. There's a high chance that this strap is going to be comfortable enough for you that you don't really want an upgrade, and you will save that money. So maybe you'll spend them on games instead. My favorite part about reviewing headsets is removing these stickers from the lenses. These are pancake lenses, and they look very similar to the lenses that you find on Quest Pro. They don't look any bigger though than the lenses on Quest 2 or Quest Pro. But don't let that fool ya. It's definitely going to make so much of a difference visually. Maybe not so much for FOV though, but we will get to that later. We will also take a look at the controllers, and as you can see, they look quite similar to Quest 2 actually. The black and white design is not new. We saw that in Quest 2 as well. I really like the shape of these controllers. They did not make them neither smaller nor bigger. It is the perfect really size for my hands, but I can understand that some people might have a larger hands and maybe this handle will be a little too small for them. But there is virtually no change in size compared to Quest Pro controllers or Quest 2 controllers. One small but significant difference that you can see in Quest 3 controllers compared to Quest 2 is that to remove this plate, you don't need to just slide it. You simply press on this button and then it comes off. This was made as a response to the feedback that Meta received, saying that whenever users would play active games, sometimes simply moving or just gliding the controllers like this would accidentally flip this panel and it would come off like this. Actually, it comes off very easily. Now they have an actual physical button that you need to press to remove the panel and change the batteries. Finally, there's a little box below that contains a very nicely shaped or sort of round charging brick and a USB-C to USB-C cable. Now let's look at Quest 2 and Quest 3 side by side. It's very interesting to see how the thickness is almost the same if you put the headset and the facial interface together, but if you only look at headsets, the difference is incredible. It is more than half the thickness of Quest 2. The official reports are stating that the Quest 3 is actually heavier than Quest 2, despite the fact that it looks smaller. And that is true if we look at the combination of a headset, a head strap, and a facial interface. Without facial interface and without a head strap, Quest 3 weighs 395 grams, while Quest 2 weighs 413 grams. That's 18 gram difference. It is kind of funny to think that with all that weight loss that we see with Quest 3, we are still gaining it all back with the facial interface. When you're putting on the headset for the very first time, the first thing you will see is the pass-through. So you will see your environment and that is going to be your wow factor. However, make sure that the first time that you're starting your Quest 3, you're in a very well lit room. The quality of the pass-through very much depends on the quality of the lighting in your room. So if you're trying it in a darkened room, then you will see a lot of grainy particles and that is going to ruin your first impression from this pass-through. Before you'll get to play with the pass-through a bit more, the headset will ask you to set up your room and your Guardian. The cool thing here is that you'll have an option to start the Smart Guardian setup, which basically means that you will look around your room and the headset will automatically detect your Guardian based on the obstacles that it finds in your room. Now, I found it to be a little on the conservative side because even when it was close to the wall or to the objects, it would still keep a little bit of room between that so that you have a little bit of a room for air if you do come a little too close. The good news is that you have an option to correct this automatic Guardian. So basically, once it's done, you can take your controller and correct the pieces of the environment that you want to be a little bit wider or a little bit more narrow, so you're not locked in within that Guardian that the headset has built for you. It is really cool to see how now there is a very smooth transition from the pass-through to the virtual environment if you double tap on your headset, and vice versa from top to bottom. Even though we'll be posting a separate video just about the pass-through on Quest 3, I do want to talk about it a little bit more here. It is so clear that I didn't even need to remove my headset to read the tiny little password to my Wi-Fi at the back of my router. It was so clear and so easy to read it that I was completely amazed. It's so cool. In the same way, I received a message on my phone and I just looked at it, I read it, and I replied to that message all while wearing my headset. I didn't know how much I needed that functionality until I got it. Before I tried Quest 3, I couldn't even understand how convenient it would be to not have to remove the headset to do some simple tests like that. And now it's like a completely different way of using a VR headset when you have a pass-through mode of that high of a quality. When you're trying your Quest 3 for the first time, the very first app that you should play is First Encounters. First Encounters is kind of like an introductional game into the mixed reality capabilities of Quest 3. For this game, you will need to set up your room using scene understanding. And that is the most exciting things about these pass-through features, because with scene understanding, just like with setting up the garden, all you need to do is look around your room, but this time it's going to be setting up not just the garden space, but the entire room. It will understand the furniture in it, the walls, the ceiling, the floor, all the features that you have, and those things will be incorporated in the mixed reality experiences that support scene understanding. This thing worked almost perfectly. I do have a slightly weird shaped room, and I had to make some corrections, kind of removed one of the walls and then build it manually again. Still, it did manage to scan most of the objects in my room pretty accurately. I also recommend you set up your actual furniture in the Quest 3. For example, you can set up your chairs, you can set up your shelves, your table. That way, any kind of MR experiences you try will be also incorporating those furniture items, and that'll make it even more immersive. So once you have set up your scene, you will see an alien ship kind of breaking through your ceiling. The point of this game is to destroy your actual physical room, catch all of these puffballs. It's a very simple gameplay, but it is completely mind-blowing to see your actual room, your ceiling, your walls being totally destroyed in this game, and seeing the virtual world behind it. This is the true blending of the virtual and real world. When they're colliding like that, anything is possible. This is a completely new dimension of immersion that we have never really experienced before on this level and in this high quality. As simple as this little game was, it showed so much potential for the future experiences that it completely blew my mind. We already have some horror games that you can spawn different zombies and monsters in your house and imagine that they will understand the objects in your room. It's gonna be absolutely mind-blowing. And you can play the little sort of a space-oriented game called BAM, where you and your friends are sitting around this space arena and you're playing with these little robots, trying to push each other out of the edges of the arena. A super simple gameplay, but it is an incredibly addicting game, and the fact that you can see the faces of your friends while you're playing it is simply astonishing. Or for example, this new mixed reality mode in Synth Riders that will be dropping on October the 12th. In this new update, the Synth Rider space is going to be opening up in your wall, and the glowing orbs will be flying at you through that hole while you will completely be aware of your surroundings in your real room. I didn't know how much I needed this update until I tried this. Thanks Synth Riders for giving me early access. You can finally play your favorite game and not feel like you're isolated from your space. Feel the presence and enjoy all the perks of the virtual reality space. I want to keep talking about the pass-through mode and how freaking excited I am about it, but I know that some people will come and say, Tetiana, but it actually doesn't look so good. It is grainy, it still has distortions, but just because it's not perfect doesn't mean that it is not the best quality pass-through that you have ever seen. It is full color and not sort of the fake full cover overlay that we saw in Quest Pro, where the colors were simply overlaid over the monochromatic camera. And on top of that, we have the depth sensor, which does all the magic here. This is the holy grail of the mixed reality on Quest 3. In my personal experience, the fact that you can see your surrounding and feel like you're there, like actually feel the 3D objects, how close or how far they are from your face, is much more important than having a perfect clarity and zero grain. So to minimize the grain, all you need to do is play in a well-lit room. The better is the lighting in your room, the less grain you will see. In addition, with the distortions, I saw distortions only if the arms were coming very close to the face. They would be gone when the arms are kind of further away or out of your view whatsoever. You can also see that the distortions are much smaller when compared to Quest Pro, and you cannot even compare that to Quest 2, of course. So whoever tells you that pass-through on Quest 3 sucks has probably never seen any other pass-through in their lives. But another part that makes the pass-through so exciting is of course not the technology itself, but the kind of applications that are built on top of that. In Piano Vision, for example, you can actually see the keys and understand their depth and how far they are from your fingers, and these blocks that are falling on top of them are so much easier to follow to play the piano. Piano Vision is the app that probably benefits benefits most from this depth sensor capabilities of Quest 3. While the quality of the pass-through is super important, it is the applications and all the games and experiences that you can try with this pass-through is what truly makes this feature glow and bring it to life. I also tested the microphone on this headset and I really enjoyed the quality on it. Listen for yourself. This is the little part that I recorded using the microphone on Quest 3. This is me recording my audio on Meta Quest 3. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. I think it sounded really clear and loud and I didn't hear any noise at the back. But overall, it's a really good quality mic. We talk about microphone, we should also talk about the audio. And the audio is outstanding. It is so loud. Please do not listen to any audio on Quest 3 on the maximum because this is going to be too intense. It's loud and clear and I even heard the bass. If you don't care about the people in your room or around your space hearing what you're hearing in VR, then you will not even need headphones because the speakers on Quest 3 are going to be just fine. If you do prefer to see your home environment instead of the pass-through while you're in VR, then you will be happy to hear that there are 2 new environments added to the library and both of them look simply gorgeous. And also in this mirror you will see your avatar with legs, and no, the legs are not being tracked and the upper body is not being tracked yet either, but still hopefully this will come in future update. There's also a couple new things added in the settings, for example this 120 Hz mode, which is awesome. When you're playing games you will be absolutely blown away. I mean, the clarity of this headset and the quality of the image cannot be compared to anything else within the same price point, really. The value that you're getting for $500, this is the absolute dream of a headset. Quest 3 is going to blow your mind. I am so excited to see what other MR applications are going to be released. This is just such an exciting time for MR. One thing that did not impress me about Quest 3 is the FOV. It is not really a huge jump compared to Quest 2. Yes, you can see a little bit more than Quest 2 if you compare it side by side. However, when I compared it to Quest Pro, it is pretty much the same, and also that difference is not a dramatic difference. It is not a wow factor. FOV is probably the one thing that did not impress me. It is slightly better because it has to be. It is a newer headset, but it certainly didn't bring this absolutely new level of field of view. And of course, as for immersive experiences, I've already tried some of the games during the private demo in New York a couple of weeks before Quest 3 launch, but I just have to reiterate everything I've said then. This is such an amazing visual quality that you're getting on Quest 3. It is so hard to compare with anything else out there for this price. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what Pico comes up with, but for right now, this is what we have and this is what you're getting, and it is simply amazing. There are even some games that have introduced the performance enhancements specifically for the Quest 3 launch. Games like Red Matter 2, Hubris, The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, and many others have actually introduced their improvements to the game that include better texture resolutions, shadows, fog, and so many other things. I will be putting up a video talking about all the games that receive this kind of performance boost. There's so much Quest 3 content coming to this channel in just the coming days, so make sure that you're subscribed to this career so that you don't miss it. And for the next couple of weeks, I will also be testing everything there is to test about this headset and create a deep dive review. Thanks for watching and see you next time!